Now the next form that I would like to talk about is what we call as the point slope form. In your point slope form, to come up with that form, again we will need the slope of a line, and we're going to need 2 points on the line. We're using a given point x1, y1, and we have just any other point which is x and y. Again, we will start with the slope formula, and we will go ahead and use our points here for our x2, y2, and this as x1, y1. So you have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Go ahead and plug in those points in your slope formula, and you can see this is what we come up with. Now, like we did earlier on, we want to get rid of our denominator and move it over to the other side. So we have go ahead and multiply your whole denominator on both sides, and that will give you m times x minus x1 equals y minus y1. Or you can also write it in this form where you have y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And this form is what we call as your point slope form. And again, the name it gets from is basically you have your slope, and then you have your point x1, y1. So that's your point slope form. So let's look at an example on how we can use the point slope form. Now what we are going to do here is basically we want to write an equation of a line where we're given its slope and a point on the line. So the given slope is -2 and the point is 5/8. So how do we come up with the equation of a line? We will use the point slope form that we just saw. Our point slope form was y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now of course we know our m will be -2, and this point here, this point will be your x1, y1 point. These values x and y will not change, they stay the same. So let's go ahead and substitute our numbers. We'll substitute our m with -2. This x stays the same. For x1 we will substitute with 5, and the y stays the same, and for y1 we substitute with 8. Now just in case for your point 5 and 8, if you had a negative value on that, you would have to be careful when you substitute it into your formula, because these negative signs in the formula would change and become a positive. Alright, now that we have our numbers substituted, all we need to do is go ahead and solve this equation. We will start by multiplying the -2 with everything inside the parentheses, which will give me -2x, and then multiply the -2 with the -5, which will give me a positive 10. Now the next thing I will do is get my y by itself and move the 8 over to the other side, which will give me y equals -2x plus 18. And you can see we started out by using the point slope form, and when we ended up with the slope intercept form. And this is the equation of the line that we were looking for. Y equals -2x plus 18, where you can see your slope is still the same as -2, and the plus 18 gives you your y-intercept.